Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Library. It's lovely to have you here tonight. Before we begin, I'd love to know where in the world you're listening from right now. A quiet bedroom with the curtains drawn, a peaceful train ride as the landscape blurs by, a cozy corner with soft pillows surrounding you. Wherever you are, I hope you're comfortable, safe, and ready to gently settle into thought. If you enjoy these relaxing explorations and would like to hear more, a like and subscribe really helps this sleepy little channel continue. And to those of you already subscribed, thank you. Truly, your support means more than you know. Now, tonight, we're going to explore something you carry with you every single moment. Something so familiar that you might never really think about it. And yet, so extraordinary that it rivals any wonder of the natural world. We're going to talk about your body. Not in a clinical way, not with diagrams and memorization, but gently, slowly, one fascinating fact at a time. We'll discover how your body works tirelessly while you rest, how it repairs itself while you dream, and how every cell contains a story millions of years in the making. So, settle in. Close your eyes if you'd like, and let's begin this gentle journey through the most remarkable machine you'll ever know. Your own human body. When you were born, you entered the world with around 300 bones. 300 separate pieces of your skeleton, each one tiny and perfect, each one ready to grow and change. But something interesting happens as you develop. As you move through childhood, through those years of learning to walk and run and climb, many of these bones begin to fuse together. They merge, joining at the seams like pieces of a puzzle, finding their final form. By the time you reach adulthood, you have just 206 bones remaining. It's not that you've lost any bones exactly. Rather, they've come together, grown stronger by uniting. Your skull, for instance, which started as several separate plates that allowed your head to pass through the birth canal, eventually fuses into a single protective dome. The same happens throughout your body, a quiet transformation taking place over years, mostly unnoticed. And here's something soothing to consider. More than half of all your bones, over half of that entire framework that holds you up, are located in just your hands, wrists, feet, and ankles. 27 bones in each hand, 26 in each foot. These small, intricate bones work together in precise harmony every time you pick up a cup, type a message, take a step, or balance on uneven ground. They're remarkable in their complexity, and yet you rarely think about them. They simply work, quietly, constantly. The largest bone in your body is your femur, the thigh bone. It's strong enough to support up to 30 times the weight of your body. When you walk, when you run, when you simply stand, your femurs are bearing tremendous force with elegant efficiency. And at the other end of the spectrum, the smallest bone in your entire body is the stirrup bone, tucked deep inside your ear. It's smaller than a grain of rice, and yet it plays a crucial role in your ability to hear, transmitting vibrations from your eardrum to your inner ear, where sound becomes something your brain can understand. Your bones, despite seeming solid and unchanging, are actually living tissue. They're filled with blood vessels and nerves. They're constantly being broken down and rebuilt in a process that continues throughout your life. Every 10 years or so, you essentially have a new skeleton, rebuilt cell by cell from the old one. You are, quite literally, not the same person you were a decade ago. At least, not on the inside. And there's something particularly beautiful about this. Pound for pound, your bones are stronger than steel. A block of bone the size of a matchbox can support up to 9 tons of weight. And yet, bones are also light, hollow in places, engineered by millions of years of evolution to be both incredibly strong and remarkably efficient. They don't weigh you down unnecessarily. They give you structure without burden. Inside the largest bones, particularly the long bones of your legs and arms, there's a soft tissue called bone marrow. This marrow is busy, constantly productive. It's where your body creates new cells for your circulation system. Every second, your bone marrow produces about 25 million new cells. Just pause and consider that for a moment. 25 million cells, every single second. In the 15 seconds it takes to read this sentence, your body has created more cells than there are people in the United States. These cells travel through your vessels, carrying oxygen, fighting infections, forming clots to heal wounds. They're produced silently, endlessly, in the quiet factories inside your bones while you go about your day, while you sleep, while you think about other things entirely. Your body is working, always working, taking care of you in ways you never have to think about. Let's travel now through those vessels, that vast network that carries everything your cells need. If you could somehow lay out all the vessels in your body end to end, they would stretch for about 60,000 miles. Some estimates put it even higher, at 100,000 miles. That's enough to circle the Earth more than twice. This incredible network reaches every part of you, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. There are 3 types of vessels in this system. Arteries, which carry oxygen-rich material away from your heart to your body. Veins, which return the oxygen-depleted fluid back to your heart. And capillaries, the tiniest vessels of all, where the actual exchange of oxygen and nutrients happens between your circulation system and your tissues. The capillaries are so small that cells have to pass through them in single file. And yet, despite their tiny size, capillaries make up about 80% of all the vessels in your body. They're everywhere, reaching into every tissue, every organ, ensuring that no cell is too far from a supply line. Your heart, that tireless muscle in your chest, beats about 100,000 times each day. With each beat, it pumps about 2 ounces of fluid through your body. That might not sound like much, 2 ounces, a few tablespoons. But over the course of a day, your heart pumps about 2,000 gallons. In a year, that's more than 700,000 gallons. Over a lifetime, assuming you live to be about 75 years old, your heart will pump roughly 1 million barrels of fluid. That's enough to fill more than 3 supertankers, and it does this without you ever having to think about it. While you're reading, sleeping, laughing, worrying, or simply existing, your heart keeps its steady rhythm. It started beating before you were born, in the darkness of your mother's womb, and it will continue until your very last moment. It's the most faithful companion you'll ever have. The heart itself is surprisingly small. In an adult, it's about the size of 2 fists placed together. In a child, it's roughly the size of their own single fist. And despite its modest size, this organ generates enormous power. In just one day, your heart creates enough energy to drive a truck 20 miles. Over the course of your lifetime, that would be enough energy to drive to the moon and back. Here's something else that might surprise you. Your heart doesn't actually stop when you sneeze, though it might feel like it does for just a moment. What happens is that the rhythm can briefly change. The pressure change in your chest when you sneeze can slightly alter the timing, but your heart keeps beating. It's far too important to pause, even for an instant. And speaking of your heart, consider this gentle fact. When you listen to music, your heartbeat can synchronize with the rhythm. Your heart, in a sense, dances to the music you hear. Studies have shown that the heart's rhythm adjusts to match the tempo of songs, speeding up with fast music and slowing down with slower, more calming melodies. It's as though your heart is listening along with you, responding to beauty in its own quiet way. The pathway that your circulation takes through your body is remarkably efficient. From your heart, fluid travels through your arteries, becoming oxygen-rich as it passes through your lungs. Then, it's sent throughout your body, delivering oxygen to every cell that needs it. The journey from your heart, through your body, and back again takes only about 20 seconds. 20 seconds for a complete circuit. In the time it takes you to draw a few calm breaths, your entire volume of circulating fluid has traveled through your whole body. Almost every cell in your body receives its supply from your heart. The only exception is the cornea of your eye. The clear front part of your eye has no vessels at all. Instead, it receives its oxygen directly from the air, which is why it can remain transparent. Vessels would cloud your vision, so evolution found another way. About 60% of your body is composed of water. Water is in your cells, in your tissues, in the spaces between. It's the medium in which all the chemical reactions of life take place. When you feel thirsty, your body is asking for what it needs to continue these countless reactions. And when you provide that water, everything runs more smoothly. Your thoughts become clearer, your energy steadier, your body more comfortable. Interestingly, your composition changes throughout the day. You're actually taller in the morning than you are at night. This is because the soft cartilage between the bones in your spine gets compressed during the day as you move and gravity pulls down on you. When you lie down to sleep, that cartilage rehydrates and expands again, adding roughly a centimeter to your height by morning. It's a gentle reminder that your body is not fixed and unchanging, but fluid, responsive, always adjusting to the world around it. Now, let's turn our attention to your brain, that 3-pound universe contained within your skull. Your brain is only about 2% of your total body weight, and yet it demands a remarkable amount of resources. It uses about 20% of the oxygen you breathe and about 20% of the nutrients in your circulation. This organ, more than any other, is energy hungry, and for good reason. Everything you are, everything you think, feel, remember, and imagine happens within this soft, wrinkled structure. Your brain contains approximately 100 billion nerve cells, called neurons. That's roughly the same number as there are stars in our galaxy. Each of these neurons can connect with thousands of other neurons, forming a network of unimaginable complexity. The total number of possible connections in your brain exceeds the number of atoms in the known universe. Think about that. The universe inside your head, in terms of connectivity, is more complex than the entire cosmos around you. These neurons communicate through electrical and chemical signals, sending messages at incredible speeds. Some signals travel at up to 250 miles per hour. That's faster than a race car. When you touch something hot, the signal from your fingertip to your brain and back to your hand, telling you to pull away, happens in a fraction of a second. Your brain is constantly processing an enormous flood of information, most of it without your conscious awareness. Your brain never truly rests. Even when you're asleep, It remains active, sorting through the day's experiences, consolidating memories, clearing out waste products that have accumulated. In fact, your brain is sometimes more active during sleep than when you're awake. During certain phases of sleep, particularly during dreams, large areas of your brain light up with activity, processing, reorganizing, making sense of the world. And here's something beautifully paradoxical. Your brain has no pain receptors. The organ that allows you to feel pain throughout your body cannot itself feel pain. Brain surgeons can operate on a conscious patient's brain, and the patient won't feel the surgery. This is why headaches don't actually come from your brain hurting. They come from the tissues, vessels, and membranes around your brain, but not from the brain itself. Your brain is divided into two hemispheres, left and right, connected by a thick bundle of nerve fibers called the corpus callosum. These two sides process information differently and control opposite sides of your body. Your left brain controls your right side, and your right brain controls your left side. This crossing over happens in your brainstem, and scientists aren't entirely sure why evolution designed it this way, but it works beautifully. The surface of your brain, the cerebral cortex, is wrinkled and folded extensively. If you could smooth it out flat, it would be about the size of a large pillowcase. All those folds allow a much larger surface area to fit inside your skull. More surface area means more neurons, more processing power, more capacity for thought, memory, and consciousness. Different areas of your brain handle different functions. There's a region for language, another for visual processing, areas for hearing, for movement, for emotion, for memory. And yet, despite this specialization, your brain works as an integrated whole. When you look at a sunset, multiple regions collaborate. Your visual cortex processes the light and colors. Your memory centers recall other sunsets you've seen. Your emotional centers respond with feelings of peace or awe. And your language centers might search for words to describe what you're experiencing. All of this happens seamlessly, in the space of a heartbeat. Your brain is also remarkably plastic, meaning it can change and adapt throughout your life. When you learn something new, your brain forms new connections. When you practice a skill, those connections strengthen. Even in adulthood, even in old age, your brain retains this capacity to grow and change. Every book you read, every conversation you have, every moment you spend in thought or wonder, you're subtly reshaping the universe inside your skull. Let's move now to another system, one that works tirelessly behind the scenes. Your digestive system, that long, winding tube that processes everything you eat and drink, turning food into fuel and building blocks for your body. From your mouth to the other end, your digestive tract is about 30 feet long in an adult. It's shorter in a living person because the muscles along its length maintain a constant, gentle tone. But when measured at rest, it stretches quite far. Your digestive process actually begins before you even take a bite of food. When you see or smell something delicious, when you even just think about food, your salivary glands begin to produce saliva. Your mouth can produce about 1 liter of saliva each day. This saliva does much more than just wet your food. It contains enzymes that begin breaking down starches the moment food enters your mouth. It has antibacterial properties that help protect you from infections. And it contains proteins that bind to certain vitamins, protecting them as they travel through the acidic environment of your stomach. When you swallow, a remarkable coordination occurs. Your tongue pushes food to the back of your throat, and a flap called the epiglottis automatically covers your windpipe, ensuring that food goes down the right tube. This happens so smoothly, so automatically, that you rarely think about it. But it's a crucial moment, a perfect dance between multiple muscles and nerves, all working together to keep you safe. The food then travels down your esophagus, a muscular tube about 10 inches long. The esophagus doesn't rely on gravity to move food downward. Instead, it uses wave-like muscle contractions called peristalsis. These waves push food along, which means you could actually eat while standing on your head if you wanted to. Astronauts eat in zero gravity with no problems because peristalsis works regardless of position. When food reaches your stomach, it enters an environment of extraordinary acidity. Your stomach produces hydrochloric acid, which is strong enough to dissolve metal. If you were to place a nail in a jar of stomach acid, the nail would eventually erode away. And yet, your stomach's lining protects you from this acid. It produces a thick layer of mucus that shields the stomach wall from harm. This lining is constantly regenerating, replacing itself every few days. Because even with protection, the acid environment is harsh. Your stomach is a muscular bag that churns and mixes food with digestive juices, breaking it down mechanically and chemically. The stomach can stretch to hold up to 4 pounds of food at once. After about an hour or two of this churning and mixing, food becomes a thick liquid called chyme. A muscular valve called the pyloric sphincter controls when this chyme is released into your small intestine. The small intestine is where most of the magic happens, where nutrients are actually absorbed into your circulation. Despite its name, the small intestine is actually the longest part of your digestive tract, measuring about 20 to 25 feet in length. It's called small only because it's narrower in diameter than the large intestine. The inside surface of the small intestine is not smooth. It's covered with millions of tiny finger-like projections called villi, and each villus is covered with even tinier projections called microvilli. These structures increase the surface area enormously, giving your body more space to absorb nutrients. If you could unfold and flatten out the entire inner surface of your small intestine, it would cover an area roughly the size of a tennis court. As chyme moves through the small intestine, enzymes from your pancreas and bile from your liver are added to help break down fats, proteins, and carbohydrates into molecules small enough to pass through the intestinal wall into your circulation. This is where the nutrients from your meals enter your body, where that apple you ate or that glass of water you drank becomes part of you, literally. The large intestine is shorter but wider, about 5 feet long. Its main job is to absorb water from the remaining material and to form waste products. Your large intestine is also home to trillions of bacteria, collectively called your gut microbiome. These bacteria are not invaders, they're partners, helping you digest certain foods, producing vitamins that you need, and even communicating with your brain through chemical signals. Scientists are still discovering just how important these tiny organisms are to your overall health, mood, and well-being. The entire journey from mouth to end takes anywhere from 24 to 72 hours, depending on what you've eaten. Some foods move through quickly, others more slowly. Your body is remarkably good at sorting through what you give it, extracting what's useful, and letting go of the rest. Now let's consider your skin, the largest organ of your body. If you could somehow spread it out flat, your skin would cover about 20 square feet and weigh roughly 8 pounds. It's a complete covering, a protective barrier between you and the world, and yet it's also a sense organ, constantly gathering information. Your skin is made up of multiple layers. The outermost layer, the epidermis, is actually composed of layers of cells that are no longer living. These cells, filled with a tough protein called keratin, protect the living cells beneath. You're constantly shedding these outer cells. About 30,000 to 40,000 cells fall away every single minute. In a year, you lose about 4 kilograms of skin. Most of the dust in your home is actually your own shed skin cells, a slightly less poetic fact, but a true one nonetheless. Beneath the epidermis is the dermis, where you'll find vessels, nerve endings, hair follicles, and sweat glands. Your skin contains millions of nerve endings that detect pressure, temperature, pain, and pleasure. Some areas of your body, like your fingertips and lips, have far more nerve endings than others, making them extremely sensitive to touch. You have between 2 and 5 million sweat glands in your skin, distributed all over your body. These glands help regulate your temperature. When you get too warm, they release sweat, which evaporates from your skin surface and cools you down. Humans are actually exceptional at sweating compared to most animals. This ability to shed heat through sweat is one reason why humans are so good at endurance running. We can keep going long after other animals have overheated and had to stop. Your skin also plays a crucial role in producing vitamin D. When sunlight touches your skin, a chemical reaction occurs that creates vitamin D, which your body needs for healthy bones and many other functions. In a way, you're a little bit like a plant, using sunlight to create something essential. The color of your skin comes from a pigment called melanin, produced by cells called melanocytes. People with darker skin have more melanin, which provides better protection against ultraviolet radiation from the sun. The amount of melanin in your skin is determined by your genetics, but it can also change with sun exposure. A tan is actually your body's way of producing more melanin to protect itself. Your skin is also an amazing healer. When you get a cut, an extraordinary sequence of events begins immediately. Vessels near the wound constrict to reduce flow. Platelets in your circulation rush to the site and clump together to form a temporary plug. Then, a complex cascade of proteins creates a mesh of fibrin, which traps cells and forms a clot. Over the following days, new skin cells grow and migrate across the wound, slowly closing the gap. Eventually, even the scar may fade, though sometimes it remains as a small reminder of the injury. What's remarkable is that all of this happens automatically. You don't have to think about healing. Your body just does it, mobilizing resources, following ancient instructions written into your cells, repairing damage so that you can continue on. Let's talk about your muscles now, the engines of movement. You have more than 600 muscles in your body, making up about 40% of your total weight. There are 3 types of muscle tissue in your body. Skeletal muscle, which is attached to your bones and allows you to move voluntarily. Smooth muscle, which is found in your organs and works automatically, moving food through your digestive tract, for instance, or controlling the diameter of your vessels. And cardiac muscle, found only in your heart, which contracts rhythmically throughout your life without rest. When you decide to move, your brain sends signals down your spinal cord and out through nerves to the appropriate muscles. These signals cause the muscle fibers to contract, pulling on tendons, which pull on bones, which move at joints. The whole system works like a series of levers and pulleys, elegantly efficient. Your muscles work in opposing pairs. When one muscle contracts, its partner relaxes. For example, to bend your arm, your biceps contract while your triceps relax. To straighten your arm, the opposite happens. This push-pull arrangement allows for smooth, controlled movements. The strongest muscle in your body, relative to its size, is actually your jaw muscle, the masseter. It can exert a force of about 200 pounds on your molars, which is why you're able to chew through tough foods. The largest muscle is the gluteus maximus in your buttocks, which helps keep you upright and powers your movements when you walk, run, or climb. Your muscles also play an important role in maintaining your body temperature. When you shiver, your muscles are contracting rapidly, generating heat to warm you up. Even small muscle contractions throughout the day contribute to your baseline body heat. This is one reason why exercise makes you warmer. Your muscles are working harder, producing more heat as a byproduct of their activity. Muscles also store energy in the form of a molecule called glycogen, which is essentially a chain of glucose molecules. When you need quick energy, your muscles can break down this glycogen to fuel their contractions. Endurance athletes train their muscles to store more glycogen and to use energy more efficiently, which allows them to keep going for longer periods. Your muscles adapt to how you use them. If you exercise regularly, your muscle fibers grow larger and stronger. If you don't use them much, they atrophy, becoming smaller and weaker. This is why astronauts have to exercise extensively while in space. Without gravity pulling on them, their muscles and bones would weaken significantly. Even something as simple as standing up straight requires constant, tiny adjustments by your muscles. Your brain is continuously receiving feedback from sensors in your joints and muscles, and it's continuously making small corrections to keep you balanced. This all happens below your conscious awareness. You don't think about standing, you just stand. But it's the result of countless small calculations and adjustments happening every second. Let's move our attention now to your respiratory system, the apparatus that brings oxygen into your body and releases carbon dioxide, the waste product of cellular respiration. You breathe, on average, about 20,000 times per day. That's roughly 15 breaths per minute when you're at rest, though it can vary depending on your activity level and emotional state. Your lungs are located in your chest, protected by your rib cage. When you breathe in, a large dome-shaped muscle called the diaphragm contracts and moves downward, creating more space in your chest cavity. Your rib muscles also contract, lifting your ribs up and out. This expansion creates a slight vacuum, and air rushes in through your nose or mouth, down your windpipe and into your lungs. Your windpipe, or trachea, splits into two branches called bronchi, one going to each lung. These bronchi further divide into smaller and smaller tubes, eventually ending in tiny air sacs called alveoli. Your lungs contain about 300 million of these alveoli, and if you could spread them all out flat, they would cover an area roughly the size of a tennis court. That's a lot of surface area packed into the space of your chest. The walls of the alveoli are incredibly thin, just one cell thick, and they're surrounded by tiny vessels. Oxygen from the air you breathe diffuses across these thin walls into your circulation, where it binds to hemoglobin in your red cells. At the same time, carbon dioxide from your circulation diffuses in the opposite direction, into the alveoli, so it can be exhaled. This exchange happens constantly, automatically, keeping your cells supplied with the oxygen they need. Interestingly, your lungs are the only organs that can float in water. This is because they're filled with air and contain those millions of balloon-like alveoli. All your other organs would sink if placed in water, but your lungs would bob on the surface. Your respiratory system does more than just exchange gases. It also helps regulate the pH balance of your fluids. If your system becomes too acidic, your breathing rate increases to exhale more carbon dioxide, which helps bring the pH back to normal. If you become too alkaline, your breathing slows slightly. It's another one of those automatic adjustments your body makes constantly to maintain balance. Your nose plays an important role in breathing, though you can also breathe through your mouth if needed. Your nose warms, humidifies, and filters the air before it reaches your lungs. Tiny hairs in your nose trap larger particles, while mucus catches smaller particles and bacteria. The air is warmed to body temperature and moistened as it passes through your nasal passages, which makes it gentler on your delicate lung tissue. You also alternate between breathing more through one nostril and then the other throughout the day. This nasal cycle happens every few hours and serves several purposes. It allows one side to rest and recover while the other does most of the work. It also affects which side of your brain is more active, with the left nostril connected more to the right brain and the right nostril to the left brain, though this connection is subtle and not fully understood. When you yawn, you take in a particularly deep breath, which helps increase oxygen levels and may also help cool your brain slightly. Yawning is contagious, and scientists aren't entirely sure why. Some think it's a form of social bonding, a way of synchronizing the group's state of alertness. When you see someone yawn, your brain automatically mirrors the action, even if you're not particularly tired. Your sense of smell is directly connected to your breathing. As air flows through your nose, molecules carried in that air encounter smell receptors high up in your nasal cavity. These receptors send signals directly to your olfactory bulb, which is part of your brain. Smell is unique among your senses because it doesn't pass through your thalamus, the brain's sensory relay station. Instead, it connects directly to areas associated with emotion and memory. This is why certain smells can instantly transport you back to childhood, or make you feel peaceful, or remind you of someone you love. Now let's turn to your eyes, those remarkable organs that gather light and transform it into vision. Each eye contains about 120 million rods and 6 million cones, the light-sensitive cells in your retina. Rods detect brightness and work well in low light, while cones detect color and detail in brighter conditions. When light enters your eye, it first passes through the cornea, that clear dome at the front. Then through the pupil, the black circle in the center of your iris, which can expand or contract to control how much light enters. The light continues through the lens, which focuses it onto the retina at the back of your eye. The retina converts light into electrical signals, which travel along the optic nerve to your brain, where they're interpreted as images. Your eyes are actually an extension of your brain, grown out during development and remaining connected by the optic nerve. In a way, when someone looks into your eyes, they're seeing a small part of your actual brain. Interestingly, the image that forms on your retina is upside down and reversed. Your brain automatically flips it right side up for you. You've never actually seen the world the right way around, only your brain's corrected version. And you've been doing this your entire life without ever noticing. Your eyes make tiny movements constantly, even when you think you're staring at something still. These tiny movements, called microsaccades, are essential for vision. If an image is completely stabilized on your retina, it fades from view within seconds. Your visual system needs change, needs movement to keep processing what's in front of you. You blink about 15 to 20 times per minute, though you probably don't notice it. Each blink spreads a thin layer of tears across your eye, keeping it moist and washing away tiny particles. Blinking happens automatically, but you can also blink voluntarily. The muscle that closes your eyelid is the fastest muscle in your body, capable of contracting in less than 1/100th of a second. Your eyes are also relatively fixed in size from birth. When you're born, your eyes are already about 70% of their adult size, which is why babies often have such large, striking eyes relative to their faces. As you grow, your eyes grow only slightly, but your head and face grow much more, bringing everything into proportion. The ability to cry, to produce emotional tears, is unique to humans. Other animals produce tears to keep their eyes lubricated, but only humans cry in response to emotion. Scientists aren't entirely sure why we evolved this ability, but it seems to serve important social and emotional functions. Crying can be a release, a signal to others that we need support, and a way of processing intense feelings. Your ears, those sculptures of cartilage on the sides of your head, are not just for collecting sound, though they do that beautifully. They also contain your organs of balance. Deep inside each ear is the vestibular system, a complex arrangement of fluid-filled chambers and canals. When you move your head, the fluid in these canals moves, and tiny hairs detect that movement, sending signals to your brain about your position and motion. This is why you can close your eyes and still know which way is up. Your vestibular system is constantly telling your brain about your orientation in space. It works seamlessly with your vision and your sense of touch to keep you balanced and aware of your body's position. Sound itself is just a series of pressure waves in the air. When these waves reach your ear, they cause your eardrum to vibrate. These vibrations pass through 3 tiny bones in your middle ear, the smallest bones in your body. They're called the hammer, anvil, and stirrup because of their shapes. These bones amplify the vibrations and transfer them to your inner ear, where they cause waves in fluid. Tiny hair cells in your inner ear detect these waves and convert them into electrical signals that travel along your auditory nerve to your brain. Different hair cells respond to different frequencies, which is how you can distinguish between high notes and low notes, between a whisper and a shout. Your ears continue growing throughout your life, which is why older people often have larger ears than younger people. It's not that the ears themselves are growing much, but the cartilage continues to develop slowly, and gravity pulls on them over decades, making them appear longer. Your sense of balance and your sense of hearing are intimately connected because they share the same system. This is why ear infections can sometimes make you feel dizzy, and why spinning around can leave you disoriented, even after you stop. The fluid in your inner ear is still moving, still sending signals that you're spinning, even though your eyes tell you you've stopped. Let's consider your immune system now, that invisible army that protects you from countless threats every single day. Your immune system is not a single organ, but a network spread throughout your body, constantly vigilant, constantly working. Your skin is your first line of protection, a physical barrier that keeps most threats out. But when something does get through, other defenses activate. Your circulation contains various types of white cells, each with different roles. Some patrol your body, looking for invaders. Others remember past infections, so they can respond more quickly if the same threat returns. Still, others produce antibodies, special proteins that mark invaders for removal. You have organs specifically dedicated to immune function. Your lymph nodes, small bean-shaped structures scattered throughout your body, filter your lymph fluid and house immune cells. When you're fighting an infection, some of your lymph nodes may swell as they fill with immune cells responding to the threat. Your spleen, located in your upper left abdomen, filters your circulation and stores immune cells. Your thymus, located behind your breastbone, is where certain immune cells mature. Even your tonsils and adenoids, often thought of as troublesome organs that get removed, are actually part of your immune system. They're strategically positioned near your throat, sampling what you breathe and swallow, helping your immune system learn about potential threats. Your body has a remarkable ability to distinguish self from non-self. Your immune system can recognize your own cells and leave them alone while attacking foreign invaders. This recognition system is so sophisticated that it can even remember specific threats for years, even for your entire life. This is how vaccines work. They train your immune system to recognize a particular threat, so that if you encounter it later, your body can respond immediately. Sometimes, though, this system makes mistakes. In autoimmune conditions, the immune system mistakenly attacks the body's own cells. In allergies, it overreacts to harmless substances like pollen or certain foods. These are reminders that even the most sophisticated systems can occasionally misfire. But considering the billions of decisions your immune system makes every day, it's remarkably accurate. Your gut, as mentioned earlier, houses trillions of bacteria. Most of these are beneficial, helping you digest food and even communicating with your immune system. In fact, a large portion of your immune system is located in and around your digestive tract, which makes sense. Your gut is where you bring the outside world inside you every time you eat. Your immune system needs to be present there to monitor what's coming in. These gut bacteria also produce certain vitamins that you need, particularly vitamin K and some B vitamins. They're so important to your health that some scientists consider them almost another organ, a separate entity living symbiotically within you. Let's talk about your sense of touch, that essential connection with the physical world. Your skin contains millions of nerve endings that respond to different stimuli. Some detect pressure, some temperature, some pain, some pleasurable sensations. These receptors are not evenly distributed. Areas like your fingertips, lips, and tongue have far more receptors than areas like your back or thighs. This variation in sensitivity is represented in your brain by something called the sensory homunculus, a strange little figure that shows how much brain space is devoted to processing sensations from each part of your body. If you could see this homunculus, it would be grotesque, with enormous hands, lips, and tongue, and a tiny trunk and legs. This reflects how important touch is for your hands and mouth compared to other body parts. Touch is essential for human development. Babies who don't receive enough physical contact don't thrive as well as those who do. Touch releases oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone, which promotes feelings of trust and connection. A gentle touch on the arm, a hug, holding hands. These simple gestures have measurable effects on homunculus, your stress levels, your mood, and even your immune function. Pain, while unpleasant, serves an important function. It's your body's warning system, alerting you to damage or potential damage. People born without the ability to feel pain face serious challenges because they don't receive these warnings. They might not notice an injury until they see it, might not realize they're touching something too hot, might not know when to rest an injured limb. Your sense of proprioception, your awareness of where your body parts are in space, is related to touch but distinct. Close your eyes and touch your nose. You can do it easily because your brain knows where your finger is and where your nose is without having to look. This sense comes from receptors in your muscles, tendons, and joints that constantly report on position and movement. Temperature sensation is also complex. You have separate receptors for heat and cold. Interestingly, something extremely cold can trigger your heat receptors, which is why very cold things sometimes feel burning hot. Your brain is trying to make sense of conflicting signals. Your body has a remarkable ability to adapt to constant sensations. When you first put on clothes in the morning, you feel them against your skin. Within minutes, you stop noticing them. Your brain filters out constant, unchanging input because it's not useful information. This allows you to focus on changes, on new sensations that might signal something important. Now let's consider time itself, or rather, how your body experiences it. You have an internal clock, a circadian rhythm that runs on approximately a 24-hour cycle. This rhythm influences when you feel sleepy, when you feel alert, your body temperature, hormone release, and many other functions. Your circadian clock is controlled primarily by a small group of cells in your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, located just above where your optic nerves cross. This location is significant because these cells receive information directly from your eyes about light levels, which helps synchronize your internal clock with the actual day-night cycle. When you travel across time zones, your internal clock needs time to adjust, which is why you experience jet lag. Your body is still expecting day and night at the old times, and it takes a few days for your circadian rhythm to sync with the new schedule. Light, particularly blue light, suppresses the production of melatonin, the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. This is why looking at bright screens before bed can make it harder to fall asleep. Your brain interprets that light as a signal that it's still daytime, and it holds off on releasing melatonin. Different people have slightly different natural rhythms. Some people are naturally morning larks, feeling alert and energetic early in the day. Others are night owls, feeling more awake and creative in the evening. This preference has a genetic component, though social factors and habits also play a role. Sleep itself is essential. While you sleep, your brain consolidates memories, processing the experiences of the day and deciding what to keep and what to discard. Your body repairs tissues, building muscle and bone, healing wounds. Your immune system strengthens. Waste products that have accumulated in your brain during the day are cleared away through a system that becomes more active during sleep. You cycle through different stages of sleep throughout the night: light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep, where most dreaming occurs. Each stage serves different purposes. Deep sleep is particularly important for physical restoration, while REM sleep is crucial for emotional regulation and creative problem-solving. Dreams are still somewhat mysterious. Everyone dreams, though not everyone remembers their dreams. During REM sleep, your brain is highly active, sometimes more active than when you're awake, and yet your body is temporarily paralyzed, so you don't act out your dreams. This paralysis is a protective mechanism, though very rarely it malfunctions, leading to conditions where people do move during dreams. Your body temperature drops during sleep, which is one reason why you might feel cold in the middle of the night. Your metabolism slows, your breathing becomes more regular, your heart rate decreases. Sleep is a time of restoration, of quiet maintenance, of preparing for the next day. Let's think about your voice, that remarkable instrument you use to communicate. When you speak, air from your lungs passes through your larynx, or voice box, located in your throat. Your vocal cords, two small bands of tissue stretched across your larynx, vibrate as air passes through them, creating sound. The pitch of your voice depends on how tightly your vocal cords are stretched. When they're stretched tighter, they vibrate faster, producing a higher pitch. When they're more relaxed, they vibrate more slowly, producing a lower pitch. The loudness of your voice depends on how much air pressure you push through your vocal cords. But producing sound is only part of speaking. You also shape that sound with your tongue, lips, teeth, and the roof of your mouth to create specific sounds. The incredible variety of sounds you can produce allows you to speak any of the world's thousands of languages. Interestingly, you can't tickle yourself. This is because your brain predicts the sensation based on your own movements, and it filters out expected sensations. When someone else tickles you, the sensation is unexpected, and your brain responds to it. This predictive filtering helps you focus on sensations that might be important while ignoring routine input from your own movements. Your brain is constantly making predictions about what's going to happen next, based on past experience. Most of the time, these predictions are accurate, and reality matches expectations so seamlessly that you don't even notice the process. Reality doesn't match predictions. When something unexpected happens, that's when you become consciously aware, when your attention focuses on the discrepancy. This predictive processing is why magic tricks and illusions work. They exploit the ways your brain fills in gaps and makes assumptions. Your visual system doesn't capture every detail of the world around you. Instead, it takes samples, and your brain fills in the rest based on what it expects to be there. Magicians use this to direct your attention away from the method and toward the mystery. Your experience of reality is not a direct recording of the world. It's a construction, a best guess created by your brain based on incoming sensory information and past experience. This is why eyewitness testimony can be unreliable, why memories change over time, why two people can experience the same event and remember it quite differently. Your brain is not a camera or a tape recorder. It's an interpreter, making sense of the world in its own unique way. Consider your hands again, those remarkable tools. Each hand contains 27 bones, 29 joints, and at least 123 ligaments, not to mention the muscles and tendons that allow movement. The complexity and precision of your hands are part of what makes humans unique. Your opposable thumb, the way it can press against each of your other fingers, allows you to grip objects with precision, to manipulate tools, to write, to create. The sensitivity of your fingertips is extraordinary. You can detect textures at a microscopic level, feeling variations that you couldn't possibly see with your eyes. Blind readers of Braille use this sensitivity to read, feeling patterns of tiny raised dots that represent letters. Your fingernails are made of keratin, the same protein that makes up your hair and the outer layer of your skin. They grow continuously throughout your life, about 3 millimeters per month. The purpose of fingernails is partly protection for the fingertips, but also to enhance fine motor skills. Try picking up a small object like a pin without using your fingernails. It's much harder. You have unique fingerprints, patterns of ridges on your fingertips that are yours alone. Even identical twins, who share the same DNA, have different fingerprints. These ridges form during development in the womb, influenced by tiny variations in pressure, movement, and nutrition. They remain essentially unchanged throughout your life, which is why fingerprints are so useful for identification. You also have a unique tongue print, though it's less commonly used for identification. The pattern of bumps, grooves, and textures on your tongue is unique to you, just like your fingerprints. Let's think about growth and change over time. Your body is never static. It's constantly renewing itself, cell by cell, tissue by tissue. Different parts renew at different rates. Your skin replaces itself roughly every 2 to 4 weeks. The lining of your stomach replaces itself every few days. Your liver can regenerate completely in about a year. Your skeletal system, as mentioned, is completely renewed every 10 years or so. Red cells in your circulation live for about 4 months before they're broken down and replaced. Your body is making millions of new cells every second to replace the ones that wear out. This constant renewal is why you can heal, why injuries don't last forever, why your body can adapt to changing circumstances. In a sense, you're like a river. The water flowing through a river is constantly changing, and yet the river itself persists. Different water molecules pass through, but the river remains, shaped by its banks, flowing in its pattern. You are similar. The specific atoms and molecules that make up your body are constantly being exchanged with your environment, and yet you persist, maintaining your pattern, your structure, your identity. This renewal means that physically, you're not the same person you were years ago. The material has changed, and yet there's continuity. Memories persist, scars remain, though they fade. Your pattern continues, even as the substance constantly renews. Let's consider your liver, that large organ tucked under your ribs on your right side. Your liver performs over 500 different functions, making it one of the most versatile organs in your body. It processes nutrients from your digestive system, breaking down fats with bile. It filters toxins from your circulation, including various chemicals you might ingest. It stores vitamins and minerals. It produces proteins needed for clotting. It regulates levels of amino acids in your circulation. It stores glucose in the form of glycogen and releases it when needed to maintain stable energy levels throughout the day. Your liver is also the only internal organ that can regenerate. If part of your liver is removed, the remaining portion can grow back to nearly its original size within months. This remarkable ability means that a living person can donate part of their liver to someone who needs a transplant, and both the donor's remaining liver and the recipient's new portion will grow to adequate size. Your kidneys, two bean-shaped organs behind your stomach, filter your entire volume of circulation about 40 times each day. They remove waste products, excess water, and help regulate the balance of electrolytes in your body. Each kidney contains about 1 million tiny filtering units called nephrons. Circulation enters each nephron, useful substances are reabsorbed, and waste is collected to form urine. Your kidneys also produce hormones, including one that stimulates the production of red cells, and another that helps regulate your pressure. They're remarkable organs, working constantly, quietly, filtering and balancing without you ever having to think about it. Think about the complexity of something as simple as walking. When you walk, your brain coordinates hundreds of muscles, monitors input from your eyes, your vestibular system, and proprioceptors throughout your body. It calculates angles, forces, timing. It adjusts for uneven ground, for slopes, for obstacles. And it does all this automatically, below your conscious awareness. You learn to walk as a toddler, through trial and error, falling and getting back up countless times. Eventually, the pattern became ingrained, automatic. Now you walk without thinking about it. Your brain has created a program, a motor pattern that runs in the background. This leaves your conscious mind free to think about other things, while your body handles the mechanics of movement. This is true for many skills. When you first learn to drive, every action requires focused attention. But with practice, driving becomes automatic. Your brain has learned the patterns, and they run smoothly without conscious effort. This ability to automate complex skills through practice is one of your brain's most useful features. Your hormonal system, or endocrine system, uses chemical messengers to regulate processes throughout your body. Various glands produce hormones that travel through your circulation to target tissues. These hormones control growth, metabolism, mood, reproduction, and many other functions. Your pituitary gland, often called the master gland, sits at the base of your brain and produces hormones that regulate other glands. Your thyroid gland in your neck produces hormones that regulate metabolism. Your pancreas produces insulin and glucagon to control sugar levels. Your adrenal glands produce cortisol for stress response and adrenaline for emergency situations. Your reproductive organs produce hormones that regulate maturation, reproduction, and various sex characteristics. These hormones work on much longer timescales than nerve signals. While a nerve impulse delivers a message in fractions of a second, hormonal effects unfold over minutes, hours, or even days. This slower timescale is suited to the kinds of changes hormones produce. Changes in growth, metabolism, mood. Things that don't need instant adjustments, but rather longer-term regulation. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline prepare your body for action, increasing your heart rate, sharpening your focus, mobilizing energy stores. This stress response, often called fight or flight, is useful in emergencies. But when stress becomes chronic, when these hormones are elevated constantly, they can have negative effects on your health. This is why managing stress, finding ways to relax and recover, is so important for long-term well-being. Consider the miracle of healing. When you cut yourself, your body immediately begins a complex process of repair. Vessels constrict to reduce flow. Platelets form a plug. A clot forms from a cascade of proteins in your plasma. Immune cells arrive to clean up debris and fight any infection. New cells begin to grow, slowly filling in the gap. Tiny vessels form to supply these new cells. Gradually, over days or weeks, the wound closes, leaving at most a small scar. All of this happens automatically. You might keep the wound clean, perhaps cover it with a bandage, but your body does the actual work of healing. It mobilizes resources, coordinates different cell types, knows when to clot and when to stop clotting, when to fight infection and when to start rebuilding. The wisdom in your cells, the information encoded in your DNA, guides this process from start to finish. Even breaking a bone, which seems like a serious injury, is something your body can repair. When a bone breaks, cells called osteoblasts begin producing new bone tissue to bridge the gap. Over weeks to months, depending on the severity and location of the fracture, the bone grows back together. With proper alignment and immobilization, the healed bone can be as strong as it was before the break. Your body has an inherent drive toward healing, toward wholeness. Given time and the right conditions, it will repair most injuries. This is not something you have to consciously do. It's built into the system, an ancient program that has been refined over millions of years of evolution. Think about your ancestors, all the way back through time. Every one of them survived long enough to reproduce. Every single one, going back billions of years to the first self-replicating molecules, successfully passed on their genetic information. You are the result of an unbroken chain of survival, stretching back to the very beginning of life on Earth. That's a staggering legacy contained in every cell of your body. Your DNA, that famous double helix molecule, contains the instructions for building and maintaining your body. If you could unwind and straighten out all the DNA in just one of your cells, it would stretch about 6 feet. You have trillions of cells, so if you could connect all your DNA end to end, it would reach from Earth to the Sun and back many times over. And yet, this DNA is packed incredibly efficiently, coiled and folded and wrapped around proteins, fitting inside the tiny nucleus of each cell. When a cell divides, this DNA has to be copied with extraordinary accuracy. The machinery that copies DNA makes only about 1 error per billion base pairs. That's remarkable precision, though occasional errors do occur, leading to mutations, some of which can be harmful, some beneficial, most neutral. Your genes, Segments of your DNA that code for specific proteins are the same in every cell of your body. What makes a skin cell different from a liver cell is not different DNA, but different patterns of gene expression. Different genes are turned on or off in different cell types, leading to different proteins being made, which gives each cell its specific characteristics and functions. And here's something beautiful. You share a large percentage of your DNA with all other humans. We're all remarkably similar genetically, far more similar than we are different. You also share DNA with other animals. About 98% of your DNA is identical to chimpanzees. About 90% is shared with mice. About 60% with fruit flies. Even with a plant, you share fundamental genetic sequences for basic cellular processes. This common genetic heritage points to a shared ancestry, a single origin for all life on Earth. You're related, in a very real sense, to every living thing. The tree outside your window, the bird on a branch, the bacteria in your gut, the person sitting next to you, all family, all connected through deep time. Your body, as we've explored tonight, is a universe unto itself. Trillions of cells, each one a complex chemical factory. Systems within systems, all working together, maintaining balance, responding to changes, healing injuries, growing, adapting, learning. And yet, with all this complexity, most of it runs smoothly without your conscious input. Your heart beats, your lungs breathe, your stomach digests, your liver filters, your kidneys balance, your immune system patrols, your brain processes. All happening continuously, seamlessly, while you think about other things, while you work, play, love, dream. There's something deeply soothing about this realization. You don't have to manage all these processes. You don't have to remember to make your heart beat or tell your liver what to do. Your body knows. It has ancient wisdom, instructions refined over eons, systems that work reliably day after day, year after year. Of course, your body needs certain things from you. It needs nourishment, water, rest, movement, protection from harm. But given these basics, it's remarkably self-sufficient. It's designed to work, to maintain itself, to heal, to continue. And so tonight, as you settle into sleep, perhaps you can appreciate this body that carries you through life. These bones that support you, this heart that never stops its rhythm, these lungs that breathe for you, this brain that thinks and dreams and creates your experience of being you. You don't have to do anything right now. Your body will continue its quiet work. Cells will renew, tissues will repair, memories will consolidate, your immune system will patrol, your heart will beat its steady rhythm. All of this will happen while you rest, while you drift into sleep, while you dream. Your body has carried you through every moment of your life so far. It's been with you through joy and sorrow, through challenge and ease, through every experience you've ever had. And it will continue, reliably, faithfully, doing its work, keeping you alive, allowing you to experience this remarkable adventure of being human. So rest now. Let your muscles relax. Let your breathing slow and deepen. Let your mind drift gently. Your body knows what to do. It's been doing it since before you were born, and it will continue tonight and tomorrow and all the days after that. You are safe here, cared for by this intricate system of systems, this biological miracle that is your own human body. Feel the weight of your head on the pillow, the gentle rise and fall of your chest with each breath, the softness of the sheets around you. This body, your home, carrying you safely into sleep. Thank you for joining me tonight on this gentle exploration. Whether you're already drifting into dreams or still wide awake, I hope you found something peaceful in these reflections on the remarkable machine that is the human body. From the billions of cells working in harmony, to the electrical signals racing along your nerves, to the quiet wisdom of systems that maintain balance without your conscious thought, your body is truly extraordinary. And yet it asks for so little in return. Just kindness, just care, just rest when it needs rest. So let yourself rest now. Let go of any remaining thoughts, any tension, any worry. Your body is taking care of you, just as it always has, just as it always will. The rhythm of your heartbeat, the gentle tide of your breathing, the soft darkness behind your closed eyes, all of it guiding you gently towards sleep. You have done enough for today. You have been enough. Your body has worked tirelessly, and now it deserves this rest. Let sleep come softly, naturally, in its own time. There's nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do. Just this, just breathing, just being, just allowing rest to find you. And as you drift away, remember that tomorrow your body will wake with you, ready for a new day, having spent these quiet hours renewing, repairing, preparing. This faithful companion, this intricate wonder, this universe contained within skin, this remarkable human body that is yours alone. Good night, dear listener. May your sleep be peaceful and deep. May your dreams be gentle, and may you wake refreshed, restored, ready to greet another day of this beautiful, mysterious, extraordinary experience of being alive. From the Sleepy Library, sleep well.